Fermanagh College in Enniskillen, Northern Ireland, has a large rural catchment area. Several lecturers wanted to develop course materials that could be accessed outside of class time. Their first experiments were not well received by students, and so they had to think again.
Okay, Freddie, when you're ready, action.
The DIN socket is circular in shape, and it has a little key on the top of it here, and we have 5 pins which are in a circular shape.
We thought that we had found the missing ingredient, the teacher. So we have put the teacher into the PowerPoint presentation.
If you have a look at, say, a VLE where you put PowerPoint presentations on it, they're just drab PowerPoint presentations. They're non-talking, silent movies. So what I realised was that I needed information in there. I needed the teacher in there as well as the materials. The materials is one part of the equation, but we needed the teacher as well.
Fixed cost of £500. The units sold for £10 each, and the variable cost per unit was...
Before, when that technology wasn't there, we weren't able to do that, or we were drawing graph after graph after graph, or formula after formula after formula. Now the students can actually see what's going on. So it takes a very difficult, very complex concept and topic, and it allows you to use new technology to deliver differently, or slightly differently, and to deliver it in a better way that the students can self-learn a hell of a lot themselves. And that, I think, is very, very important.
The next thing we'll draw in will be the variable cost line. So what you've got here is a line that says if you produce 50 units and the cost per unit is £5.
And the whole idea with Microsoft Producer is that you can add an audio or a video to the PowerPoint presentation. And I thought that's exactly what I want.
You're carrying it around the lab. Always make sure you're carrying it properly. Always be aware of your shroud.
I could show this to them in the lesson as a piece of support material. I could actually have the props which I've used during the actual presentation itself, or they could revisit it later on our intranet. If there was a point, basically, because most of these tasks would actually come up in the assignment, so they can go back, they can revisit it, they can rerun it as many times as they wish.
We have a very rural community in Fermanagh, and we draw from a wide catchment area, and in particular to bring some students to the college 2 nights a week for part-time courses, when maybe one night and one night via a blended delivery. We feel that that's something we should be moving towards.
It can be difficult to learn from a lecturer's notes, which is what it could become if it becomes purely a very simple learning object. So really it's a balance of that efficiency on one hand, which is yes, it can allow us to do things with like a bigger mass, more critical mass, but on the other side is really making sure it's effective, i.e. improving the performance and the learning experience.
Sometimes when you sit in class and you get something explained and you nod your head up and down that you understand, but 15 minutes outside the class, maybe just because I'm at that age, that you don't have a grasp of the concept anymore, even though you know, and there was something about that or there was something about this, but if you logged into something that was relevant to the class that you were in, and I think that was the important thing about the Peter's website, that it was relevant to the actual course that you were doing, that you could go in and you were covering the stuff that they were covering in class.
Your PowerPoint presentation is your storyboard. Whenever you're planning out your presentation, you're actually doing your storyboarding. In your own head, you have the commentary. So you just get up and it's filmed in real time. I knew we were getting somewhere whenever a head of school actually asked me to come and talk to her staff at one of her school meetings about it. So we just felt this wave going through the college. Oh, listen, this is what you now can do with PowerPoint.
I'm just a guy that has attached audio and video to PowerPoint and created some learning propositions and maybe some online units. I'm still a business studies teacher.
This won't answer all the questions, but it will help in some way. It'll help them to bring their own materials and their own notes into the online e-learning market. And if they can blend that with materials then that are already available, like the NLN and Ferl materials, we should have a good teaching proposition.